I stumble through the darkness of my apartment, my body heavy, and my mind struggling to function, barely awake. This seems to be happening more often, awakening in the twilight, an unquenchable thirst prying me from my dreams. My eyes strain to see into the abyss that is my kitchen at 3 a.m. A creeping fear begins to slowly come upon me as I stumble through the dark in search of a light switch. I feel a puff of breath on the back of my neck, just as my fingers flip the switch, illuminating the room, but nothing is there. I pass it off as my mind playing tricks on me. My vision blurs under the incredibly bright lights. Is it always this bright? I notice my hand trembling as I raise to the refrigerator's handle, an inexplicable unease overcoming me. There's nothing there but a Tupperware filled with pulled pork I made days ago. How many nights in a row have I consumed the flesh of the pig? I stare into the clear container, forgetting what I was looking for, hypnotized by the mangled pork flesh. The meat begins to move inside the container, slowly swirling, writhing, pushing something round right up against the plastic container. I step closer, slowly in disbelief of what I am seeing. The realization of what it is, the second it blinks at me. An eyeball. I jump backwards, falling flat on the ground, as the sound of what I can only describe as a cross between an oink and laughter escapes the refrigerator as the door slams shut. I try to scream out in terror, but I no longer have a voice. My throat feels like sandpaper. I rush over to the sink and turn the water on, hoping it will refresh my body and mind. I fill a cup and slowly bring it up to my mouth. The taste of copper fills it as I drop the glass onto the ground. Glass and blood now cover the white tiled floor. The faucet, still on now, flows with a crimson liquid, and I suddenly can smell iron in the air. Iron, metal, rust, rotting meat, thick and festering. My stomach churns from the pungent odor. As I step backward onto the broken glass, a piercing pain shoots through my heels. My mouth opens and vocal cords stretch, and yet not a sound is emitted. The kitchen is silent, dead silent. An impossible void of sound, the hum of kitchenware has vanished. The faucet, still running red, is inexplicably silent. Even my own breath makes no sound as it escapes me. Just before I think I'm going to lose my mind to silence, I hear it. Quiet and distant at first, and then catastrophically loud. The squealing of a pig. It becomes deafeningly loud. My eardrums ache from the sound, and I fall to my knees, clasping my hands over my ears. A warm liquid pools in my palms and slides down my forearms as I collapse. The refrigerator door flies open again, and the oinking laughter joins the persistent squealing. Pulled pork begins to spill from the refrigerator on the floor. Bile. It doesn't seem to end, covering the entire floor with meat and blood. I manage to rise to my feet, but slip on the putrid pork. The oinking laughter becomes even louder. I get up again and sprint towards the door. The moment I pass through, I'm right back in the middle of the kitchen. I do it again and again and again to no avail. I'm trapped inside this nightmare. As my panic reaches a fever pitch, I notice it gleaming on the counter, clean and welcoming. The butcher knife I had used to cut up the pork that I had made a week prior. I press the tip to the side of my throat. The oinking becomes louder still, almost cheering me on. With a deep breath, I slide the blade across my neck as I fall back against the bloody, pork-strewn floor. The last thing I see is a pig slowly walking towards me as everything fades to black.